Hey people, I went ahead and put up my camera, but I still don't really have anything specific that I wanted to say except hello, it's Thursday, the 14th of October. Almost mid-month already. Boy, 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 boy. How are you all doing? Let me just do this right quick. Yeah, they put those ads on my shows now. Thank you for your kind words, folks. Thank you. I'm just looking at some of the last comments where I'm seeing about strange times and person talking about the peel sessions. Yes, those are good. Yeah, I am very much a music nerd, and it's one of the primary things that I do in life. It's related to music and art. When I'm not listening, making it, or learning about it, or something. So that's my prime focus of what I have to share with you. Some records. Yesterday was like the anniversary of the release of this single, It's My Party by Dave Stewart and Barbara Gaskin, two musicians who are best known through their association with the Canterbury School of Progressive Rock. Barbara Gaskin was in Spyro Gyra, not the jazz band. You know all about Dave Stewart from Arzakel, you're right, Arzakel, Egg, Hatfield in the North, Rupert, you name it, the man. He's one of my favorites. And I have this one, Busy Doing Nothing. These are collector's items for me. This one was interesting. I posted it in the Canterbury group on Facebook, and the first comment was a diss, which, it is very interesting. Not very interesting, but it is kind of pathetic how even now still folks are still so juvenile that they will sink to saying and doing things online because of anonymity that they would never do in person. However, the person's diss of this record started a really rather good discussion. And one of the good points brought up was how when a innovative musician finally does something that may bring them a little bit of income, who are we to judge? Blue Oyster Cult. When the album first came out, because of the cover art, this is their second album. I had to know what it was. Couldn't afford the record when it first came out. When I finally did get it, and I did get it the year it got out because I was working, I was not disappointed. I liked it a lot and still do. And this is the Red and the Black, their second album. It's beat because I've had it forever, and I still like this a lot. OD'd on life itself. Got to see them twice. I got to see Blue Oyster Cult back when they were headliners, when they were on their way up, as it were. I saw them, and they were great. But I get it mixed up. Was it Status Quo that opened the show? I know I saw them about the same time, and it was a really action-packed, wonderful show. That's been out. What do y'all know about this band? Because I don't. I just know that when I heard them, I said, boy, this sounds like something I have heard before. North Atlantic Oscillation. This is their album, The Third Day. The lead singer's voice has a timbre that reminds me of someone. John Perry from Caravan is one, but there's another person who's more famous, but I still can't think of who it is, except that the person's voice reminds me of that. I love the melodicism of this music, and it is progressive. It is, where they're doing things where the melody does this, that, and then moves in an unexpected direction. I love when that happens. I just really do. Yesterday was Pharoah Sanders' birthday. This is my favorite album by him, and this is an original beat copy that was bought at the time by my friend, and I inherited it. Thembi. This is, I think, a fantastic introduction to him because it starts off with the astral traveling, which is just beautiful, and then it doesn't mess around. Red, black, and green. The very next track starts off totally explosive and free. He also gives the bass players at Reggie Workman on here. Let's see who it is. A really wonderful Cecil McBee. Well, that explains it. Now that I'm looking at the album, I can also mention the passing of Dr. Lonnie Liston Smith, who plays on here, but I don't have any solo Lonnie Liston Smith albums because what he did on his own didn't interest me. I mean, he's a good player, but his approach, the records that he made, didn't catch my fancy, but rest in peace, Dr. Smith. Manchester band, the Chameleons come to mind again. Love the band, the Chameleons. They're from Manchester, but this band is also from Manchester. The Passage for All and None. Hadn't played this in a while. And this sounds kind of clunky, but still, it's like Dick Witts and this band were doing something no one else was doing at the time. And so I still give it credit. I mentioned the Chameleons because when I played with Mark Burgess and he came to the house and we partied after the show, he came into my music room here and freaked out on the records and really freaked out when I started pulling other bands that I knew I had from Manchester, because he's in Manchester. And he was blown away that someone in America, much less Nebraska, knew about The Passage, who he, just went on, waxed enthusiastic about this band and the man Dick Witts. Hadn't played that in that for a long time. I want to share this with you, Robert, if you are still watching my videos. I've listened to your album again several times, Musique, Psychedelic Talismans. I do like it, but it just creeps along. The way that it hits me, it's like this is the sort of thing that is engaging to do as much as it is to listen to it, maybe more so. Doing it is more the payoff than listening to it. I like stuff like this. I just find that it, kind of grinds on and grinds on. Then it'll hit a part that I find interesting, and then it'll go for a while, and I'll almost want to take it off. That's just on his feedback. So this is, thanks for sharing this with me, and I'm sure you have followers or people who dig this. This is in the tradition of Faust to a degree, I would say, and Faust are very important to me. Thanks for sharing that with me. The Ordinaires. I don't know anything about this band. Bought it used years ago. My first impression was so-so, that it was like ambitious but not quite getting there. Listened to it again this week and it came in stronger. But like in a way the band is pushing its abilities, trying to create something new. If you see it, I'd say pick it up. I would. I believe they're from Spain. Iceberg. In the tradition of Mahavishnu Orchestra and fusion. Iceberg. Sentiments. This is fiery stuff. Great playing. Notable guitarist on here. Very notable. And that's what's down here that I hadn't shown you. My personal news is I went last night to the first rehearsal for this piece called Effect that I collaborated with a dance troupe on, TBD Dance Collective. I'll be basically performing it with them live next month. I'll be the cue master for the changing of certain things. It was really quite an experience to hear my piece that they commissioned from me, which I put together last year during COVID. Well, before COVID hit, actually, because this was supposed to happen last May, and then we couldn't do it. But the piece took on a whole new character to me watching it with the dancers and through a loud sound system as they were rehearsal last night. And I was like, wow, this is going to be powerful. And it's like this piece of music that I put together, I labored over it. It's like, yeah, this is, wow, this is good. So that happened last night. That was cool. Music related. Um, I think the only other thing that I'll say here is, are you folks noticing, like I'm noticing, the how COVID is really settling in on how much it's dismantled the structure of things worldwide? Have you noticed that? I mean, I'm certainly noticing it. Supply chains are all messed up. Um, the hospital situation is way dicey everywhere. So there's nothing I can do about it. I observe, express concern. Maybe the only thing I can do is to just encourage, as one person, to other individuals. Let's try to be part of the solution. Let's try to do something to help rather than be manipulated by the people who try to control the narrative. And people are psychologically manipulated wholesale, far beyond their realization, much far beyond the general realization of the general public. I'm observing it. It's like this movie that was made years ago. Roddy Piper was in the movie, and it was about, he found these glasses where he could, when he put them on, he could see what was really happening, which is how I feel literally in this world. Um, so I just, want to just continue to put out a little message that, it's up to each one of us to either add to the horrid breakdown of everything, which is what we're in. Things are not getting better at all for anyone. People who have resources and money can live a material life and shield themselves to a degree, but that's all. It's still the general um, plan of action on this plan is attrition. Things are really falling apart. So do be an ambassador of compassion, kindness. Wake up to the psychological manipulation that we're dealing with on behalf of people who are able to do it. Corporations with large amounts of money, politicians who are puppets of the people with the money, and how it's just a very successful um, plan of action that they just continue to divide and conquer people, divide and conquer, divide and divide more and more and more, pointing out more and more reasons for people to stupidly think that they're different from others in a way that just breaks it down everything for everyone. Wake up to this, people. Come on. Turn that fucking television off.